Hey Graham Mail. So this video is going to be on how to get your tasks done efficiently. So I know that in our community, there's a lot of things you got to get done. I also understand that in life, there's a multitude of things that need to be completed as well. So you have your own personal endeavors. You have like professionalism that you need to get done. There's maybe a relationship that you want to pursue. There's going to be a lot of work that's going to be done in a relationship with a woman. So let's just talk about how to get tasks done efficiently so you don't get overwhelmed. I'll put this here for now. Okay. What's worked for me are these steps right here. Okay. We also have a mentor in our community that handles time management and productivity. So I do recommend you contacting him and even invest in his services, invest in his time to help you out. But for now, what I do want to share is like what's worked for me, right? So the first step that I did, which is the most simple one, is identify the easiest task to build momentum. So what you all are going to have to do is write down all your things in a to-do list, right? So let's just say you have even 20 different things you have to get done, right? Put it in sequence based on what is the fastest that will get done, right? Now, everything has a deadline, right? If we're talking strictly about our community, right? In order for you to be able to work with the Big Brother mentor, you're going to have to have your preparation for your transformation work completed. This is before phase one. At the time of this recording of the video, it's before phase one. So we have multiple assignments that need to get done. And the reason why we need these things is because we get an idea of where you're at in life. So if you don't get these things done and you're working with your mentor, then what the mentor is going to have to do is go backwards, look at your foundation and everything. But what if we have your foundation already set up? Like the best, by you completing the assignments, you have everything ready to go, right? So then your mentor has a system for him to refer to and take a look at and say, oh wow, okay, this is where you're at. This is what we need to get done. Correct? So even though other things may have shorter deadlines, like if you have something that's like a long task and it's a shorter deadline, that would be not considered the easiest thing to get done, but it's the most urgent to get done. This could be like for deliverables at your work or something where like, let's say you own a business and you got to get a certain strategy out completed for someone else to help you. Let's just say in like a business consultant that's helping you. Let me know if that makes sense, guys, right? If you're unsure about any of these things I'm saying, just ask me on a preparation call, or excuse me, on an accountability call, or in person at a boot camp, or on Telegram. Okay, so what's worked for me is identifying the easiest task. Right? Sometimes the deadline is longer, sometimes it's shorter, but whatever is the easiest, I get it done fast. Because what that does, it helps me build momentum. And when I have momentum, I feel confident. Hey, I got this done. So now I feel better about myself, right? Next thing is that you want to complete your tasks from shortest to longest if applicable. So what I mean by this is that you have a list of tasks. Like I said, you got to write it all down, right? Whatever is the shortest amount of time it takes to get done, just put those on top as like higher priority. And I'm going based off this. Let's say all the deadlines are equal, right? They all need to be done 90 days from now, right? Whatever your tasks are. Each of these things need to get done within 90 days. I'm just throwing 90 days. I'm not saying procrastinate and wait 90 days, but let's just say, hypothetically speaking, every task that's on your to-do list needs to get done within 90 days, right? Then what you can do is complete the tasks as a higher priority that it's the least amount of time it takes to complete it, because it builds momentum, makes you feel confident, makes you feel accomplished, and makes you feel more secure about yourself. Okay. Then whatever is the longest, because you have so much momentum from the shorter task being done, when it leads into the longest task, you're not going to be overwhelmed because you have confidence. So look at it from this perspective. If we're at a club right now and you see a bunch of super smoking hot girls, right? But the smoking hot girls are, let's say, in a group of girls, right? Like they're congregating with other beautiful women. The easier thing is to approach beautiful women, the super smoking hot ones, but the ones that are, let's say, by themselves, or they're in a group of two. Because a lot of guys, for them, approaching a group of two women as opposed to six women, right? Two is easier than six, right? So A lot of times guys, they can't balance like talking, let's say, to 10 girls at once, right? I can do that, right? We have mentors in our community that can do this. But someone like you who's just starting in our community, you want to be able to just start something small first. Go to that one girl that's by herself, go to the girl that's maybe waiting for her friend in the bathroom, and then her friend's going to come out, right? But if I push you to go talk to 10 girls, a group of 10, you're going to be overwhelmed and you just don't even know how to start the conversation flow. Examine which task is the most urgent to complete. So I already talked about this, like whatever is the most urgent should be top priority. So again, in a perfect world, every deadline is, let's say, 15 days from now, right? Each task you have to get done. But a lot of times life is not like that, right? So in our community, you have like, I don't remember the exact number and it might even change, but let's say you have 4 preparation for your transformation assignments that need to get done, right? The way to look at it is like, okay, so each of these assignments technically have equivalent deadlines. So they're all technically urgent. So I should just go for whatever's the most easy one to complete, because then I can build momentum for the bigger ones that require more effort and more time and more patience. All right, so compartmentalize, right? Long tasks into small sprints, okay? Compartmentalize is piece by piece by piece, right? So let's say you have a big assignment, like a longer type of assignment, right? And what you can do is divide it into a part 1, a part 2, a part 3, a part 4. Okay, so let's say like one of our longer assignments at this time of this recording is developing your program, right? A program has, like, for example, what are your boundaries? What are your standards? Like, what is your mentality and how you carry yourself in dating, right? So something that a guy can do is to compartmentalize it into smaller sprints. Okay. So a sprint is it's a project management term that derives from corporate office, right? Corporate America. And it's under the umbrella of terminology from the word Scrum, SCRUM. In fact, we're actually going to be teaching Scrum a lot more in our community, so you guys understand how like to be more efficient with developing, growing, and delivering projects at your job or even in this community or even in your business. So a sprint is like a short spurt, right? That's why it's called a sprint. It's not called a marathon, right? Not smaller marathon, smaller sprint. So it's a short spurt of get this done. Okay, cool. So part 1, I get my boundaries done. Then I'm going to take a break, let's say for 30 minutes. Now I'm going to get my standards done. Okay. And let's just say the most you can do is boundaries and standards in one day for your program. You still got work done. So you should be proud of yourself. The worst thing you can do is you look at the program, you look at the template and you're like, oh, and you just flake out and you just like, you just give up. Right. So don't do that. Last thing is understand that tasks may require multiple iterations. So an iteration means that it's version 1, then version 2, then version 3, version 4. So your program is probably going to be constantly redeveloped because you might come to a revelation, a breakthrough where you're like, oh, wow, I want to incorporate this in my program. Or you have a standard, you have a boundary, and then you're like, you know what? I don't like that standard and boundary. I'm going to just keep upgrading it. There might be a project in the future of our community where you're just like, I like my version 1, but I could do definitely a version 2 because version 2 is going to be a more accurate representation of who I am. So it's okay. Like if you need to, just make multiple versions of your projects for transformation, that is totally fine. We just want you to be authentic. We want you to not feel overwhelmed. And by listening to these instructions on this video, this should help you guys out significantly.